Welcome back to Spirit Speaks.
Welcome back.
We are channeling voices from the other side of life. So, we're glad that you have joined us today. We're going to start our session with an interview, and we're going to open with prayer and get going. We invite the divine light of Source Creator into this space. And we ask that all energies, frequencies, and vibrations be brought into alignment with Source Creator. May all of this session be conducted with love, light, and understanding, and so it shall be. Okay. All right. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me again.
Okay. And for the sake of our audience, you are
Cierna.
And Cierna is from the waiting room.
Yes.
Or the waiting place. We've talked about the waiting place before. A lot of our interviews have come from people who are in this waiting place. So this is someone who works in the waiting place, and she's going to answer some more questions for us. We've done an interview with her before, so this is a follow-up. So thank you for coming.
My pleasure.
Okay. So what are some interesting things that are happening in the holding place now? I know that's an open question, but
quite open.
Yeah.
Since we're always receiving new people here, new souls are arriving constantly.
Mm-hmm.
We've had a large number who have crossed over due to operations such as yours and others who are light workers, and transitioning those who have been previously stuck on this earth plane. And so we have a lot of influx currently. That would be new and exciting for us, the number coming in at one time. It's similar to when there's natural catastrophes and such. However, it's rather planned here. We have order, we have a system that operates.
Okay, so you're not inundated with so many souls coming in at one time.
No, we've had to manage, of course, yes. We've had to manage and ask for assistance from others who may have been on board to come and aid in the management of those coming in, the testing of those coming in, the grouping and additional teachers to help instruct them in their different lessons. So we've had to get more resources, yes, but otherwise we're managing, yes.
So, do you find that the new people coming in these large groups are taking longer to transition through, or do you have some that just transition easily through the system?
Well, you've just spoken with Cherry. She's a memorable person, yes.
Yes.
She's an example of one who sort of breezes through the program. And then we have others who are more like the gentleman you spoke to previously, who sabotaged your equipment.
Yes.
And he takes a bit longer. So you have the entire scale.
Okay. So, and everyone's divided up into pods when they come in? Is that the procedure? Or?
Generally, you're divided into a pod.
So, when a person first comes in,
yes,
what is the first thing they experience?
The test, the assessment. I won't call it a test because you can't get a failing grade necessarily.
Okay.
But it is an assessment.
Can you tell us about that assessment?
So on the assessment, we measure, and if I tell you too much, it's part of our protocol up here that there's some things that earthlings living are not privileged to know.
Okay.
But in the assessment, we measure certain behaviors, attitudes, beliefs that might assist or hamper your progress at the next spiritual level.
Okay.
Based on that assessment, we'll find the areas of weakness, the areas of strength, and we will pair you with others who complement. So if someone is weak in one area and you are strong, we may group you in the pod together.
Okay.
But by the same token, we'll also challenge you so that someone who may be quite different in belief systems will also be paired in the pod with you.
Okay.
Or someone who has a different attitude about life or death. We try to create pods and arrangements that will pull out the best in you by challenging you with difficulty, of course. Not dissimilar to what you experience on your earth plane.
Okay.
And those pods, once formed, still remain fluid because your progress is yours.
Gotcha. Okay, so the purpose of the assessment is not, it is to determine how you're going to move forward.
It is. There are
Okay.
some people who even unlock. So Cherry is a quick study, I'll call it. She's a quick study. No one is perfect. But there are some people who take the assessment and based on where they are, they move to level 4. They do not have to go through the waiting process.
Okay. Okay.
However, we have found those with no spiritual basis, no spiritual understanding. This is much different than a religious basis or a religious understanding.
Okay.
But those who do not have a spiritual basis or a spiritual understanding must still complete certain levels in the waiting room, different lessons.
Okay.
Those who have a spiritual understanding without religious programming and who have certain qualities based on that assessment may bypass the waiting room, but that does not mean they're ready to come back.
Okay.
So you move on to level 4. You're not complete. You're not done. This is the planning phase. So you may recognize that while you don't have to go through the waiting room, you still have lessons you must obtain in a different way. You may build those into your next lifetime, but you don't need to go through the rigor of the waiting room.
Okay.
To get to the same level that those in the waiting room are coming to.
I understand. So, what is the life review? Or is there such we say life review here, but is there such thing as a life review?
That's a part of the assessment.
Okay, what's the purpose of the life review for us?
You will have very short memories and very convenient memories. You remember what you wish to remember, and you forget that which you no longer wish to remember.
Yes, this is true.
But there are very important things that have happened in all of our lives that impact who we are at a soul level, that impact how we are as people at the most base level. It could be trauma, it could be joy. But all of those things form together to complete the picture that is you. So when you arrive here and you do this assessment, we also, as part of that, must do a life review. You must see how these beliefs, patterns, ideas, and values that you have were formed based on the experiences that you've had. Okay. So your experience creates who you are, yes. And through those experiences, you might say, I understand why I believe this. Because as a 5-year-old, I was told this by a teacher one time, and this actually happens. A quick program can influence the rest of your life.
Yes, it can.
And so we must review life, not to say you were bad or you were good, but to say, this is why. Let's understand this. Let's understand why you have this hang-up. Let's understand why you are not able to proceed to this point in the program, but you must start here. Let's understand why you're upset about this in your life because you judged it harshly based on something you learned here.
Okay.
And we have So before you join the pod, you may also be coached. So you go through your life review, and there's people who have trouble with this. There are people who truly have anguish about having to see their life in review, and they need
Yes.
assistance. And so before being placed in the pod, some people will work one-on-one or in small, very small groups for therapy, for understanding and being able to do some initial work to understand and forgive some of those decisions before even being placed into a pod, where they will continue to do a great deal of work.
Okay. Okay. All right. Someone had a question about the life review, so thank you for answering that.
It is a very important piece of the puzzle, yes. And we all must go through it. Don't worry, it's not about judgment, and it's not about you were bad or you were good.
That's the concern.
It's about this is who you are, this is how you were formed, shaped, and this is how everything in your life has impacted who you are. Now, what can we do about it to help you move forward?
Thank you. Thank you. Does anyone ever return to the waiting room after moving forward?
When you pass over and you live your life?
No. Whenever someone passes over, they live their life, passes over, comes to the waiting room, and they go through the lessons, and then they go forward. Does anyone ever have to come back?
Come back. No.
Okay.
Because you've passed this level, you may have additional lessons. And you are never complete. You are never done, I should say. You're never done learning. You're never done growing.
Okay.
So even though you may pass this waiting room and you move on to 4, it's not as if you can say, I'm done. I'm not done. Because even there, you're doing life plans, identifying which lessons you want to do, how much challenge you want to do, which soul groups you're going to incarnate with, what people you may move out of incarnations with, what karmas you must correct and fix, and how are you going to do that, and how are you going to line up all of these relationships so that you can do what you need to do, and how much can you actually fit into one single lifetime.
Wow.
There's a lot of coordination. And so you're not done. Because you may find a hiccup and say, I can only fix these 2 karmic issues. I can cancel this one. And this other person has a karmic debt that they need to repay through me. So I've also got to coordinate with them in this lifetime because we've agreed to help each other. But I've also agreed to be a part of this family soul group incarnation. And so there's a lot of coordination. And there's a lot of decisions and prioritizing. And at one point you have to say, how much can I do in one single lifetime, and what's going to be the single most important purpose of this lifetime? Because you do come in with that one big grand theme that you're going to do in your lifetime. Then all the other pieces are part of that puzzle.
Okay. So are you saying that you could have 5 karmic issues, but when you go to the 4th level, you can choose to deal with 2 of them? So whenever you come back into the earth, you still have unsettled business, but you're not taking care of all of that at one time. You're only taking care of 2 of those issues.
This gets a bit deeper. So you may have 5 karmic issues that you have to deal with. There are ways to deal with them all before you ever come back. There are ways here to deal with everything.
Oh.
If you're willing to do the work.
Oh.
Some people don't want to spend all their time up here. And because not everyone that you need to deal with is up here.
Okay.
It takes some higher exercises not everyone is ready for. Because even here the soul progresses. And so sometimes it's what they've learned here that is part of their programming, that even though they work through that waiting room and they dismantle some of that, there's some parts of that that remain some understandings of how much am I capable of doing. So it is odd that even here in the infinite possibility of a grand universe, there are people who still don't believe that they are capable of doing everything. And unfortunately, that is the reality of the human soul, especially those who have not evolved in other planets or in other systems and in other forms. And so there's a limiting idea of how much they can accomplish in spirit, and that they feel as if they must go back down here to do it. When in reality, it's not necessary, because you can accomplish all of these things in spirit.
Oh, so you can actually come back here without any karmic issues.
You can come back here without any. You can deal with it here and come back up here without any.
Oh.
At any point, you can deal with it. Whether you are still in this earth form or whether you're in spirit form, you have the power to deal with your karmic issues wherever you are, eradicate them, mitigate them, negate them, call it what you will, and not have to deal with them again.
So, at any
and
point,
I know this gets into a much different conversation. This gets a bit deeper, and many people are not ready to receive and absorb, and they will have more questions than you could possibly answer, because you do not have the information. No one, even I don't, no one has all of the information.
Okay, thank you for saying that. Thank you.
It takes too much of the great mind. It takes a great amount of the great mind to understand.
Yes. And yes. Yes. Thank you for that. Okay, so a different topic. I'm curious to know, are only the people from Earth who transition in the waiting room? Or
in this waiting room, yes.
Oh, okay, so your waiting room is specifically for Earth souls.
It is, yes.
Okay. So, what about...
And it's the only one I've dealt with.
Okay. All right.
As a former incarnate of Earth, I have worked in the waiting room that was associated with Earth.
Okay. All right. Thank you for that. So on to a different question again. Can an attachment tag along to get into the waiting room when someone else transitions?
An attachment can tag along to cross over into the light.
Yes.
At which point, during the assessment period, that will be identified. And there will be a disconnect.
Oh, okay. But they can tag. So what about someone who's not an attachment, someone who's wandering, that sees someone else going to the light? Can they?
If they can manage to reach that individual, because that individual has power. An attachment's already with the person.
Yes.
Someone wandering, it's as if, if you're walking down the street, would you just pick up anyone and let them into your house who was walking beside you? You might not.
No, probably not.
So there would be some discernment whether or not you allow someone to come with you. And as a human soul, those human souls make those choices all the time as to whether they will allow someone to come with them who's wandering. And it may depend on the energy of the person who's trying to come along.
Okay, so, and you said earlier, an attachment, if that attachment is with that person, they would come with that person.
They would come with that person, and then the detachment would happen.
Would be separated.
Yes.
Oh.
And then they have to go through their own work.
Okay. So, I read where there was one person who's being bothered by a wandering soul or a lost soul, and this lost soul was trying to convince them to commit suicide so that they could go into the light.
Mm.
Do you do you have that kind of thing happening?
An attachment can have a powerful influence on a person, especially in their human mind and human state, because they are no longer aware whether those thoughts are their own or someone else's, especially if that attachment is powerful, manipulative, controlling.
Okay.
And the longer an attachment is with someone, it's much harder to parse out what is really that person versus the attachment. And so if a person believes that something is not me, it's not me that's thinking this, that's feeling this, that's pushing this feeling or emotion on me, they should possibly listen to themselves and understand that it may not be them.
Okay.
But yes, it is fully possible, and we have seen it.
Oh, okay. All right. I guess when someone wants to come to the light and get there,
some will do whatever they feel they must.
Yes.
But listen now, those who cross over in that way, the person who was manipulated and the person who did the manipulation, they're separated. But they both have to go through this process. And how do I put this? When you eventually pass through, you've learned the lessons. So you've learned the lessons. But we cannot force you to own the lessons.
I don't understand.
So you know something, but we cannot force you to act on that knowing.
Okay.
You've learned it. You've passed. Our hope, our goal for this waiting room and these lessons is that you apply them. As you move forward and as you come back, we cannot force you to, because there is free will. You may get through and you may say, I understand all of this, but this is what I want to do.
Even up there, or even in the waiting,
it's
even
more,
in
it's
that
more,
dimension?
Well, you always have free will. Free will does not end at any point.
Oh.
As a human, you have free will always.
Oh.
You have the free will to choose whether you want to stay up here or come back, whether you want to deal with this lesson now, no lessons, 5 lessons. How hard do you want your life to be? Who do you want to come down with, incarnate with, live with, love? All of these decisions. What body do you want? And you have free will. You also have the free will to say, I know all of this that I've gone through and all of this that I've worked so hard to learn. I know this. But I'm going to choose such a difficult life that it may all go out the window because I don't know how to handle it when I get back down here.
Oh, wow.
And we discourage that. But you have free will. So we discourage coming down with such a hard life that all your learning goes out the window. Because it becomes so tough that the mind simply can't process and the spirit becomes weak and tired. And so we hope that you'll come down doing what you are able to do.
Yes.
And that way you maintain the knowledge, you retain the lessons. You don't forget all of this. Because it's a lot of work. We put a lot of work into this. And so when you come back and you forget it all,
yes,
you have to come back and do it again.
When
if you had chosen a simpler life, perhaps, one without so many difficult lessons, or having to fix so much karma, or having to deal with so many difficult relationships, all of these things that impact who we are. If you had chosen to do that before coming, when you come here, your life would be easier to manage. And you'd be able to call on those lessons from a place of ease.
Yes.
So you still have free will. You still have the freedom to choose whatever life you want. And I say this because attachments, going back to this issue of attachments, and we've seen this happen here before, you come down, you live this life that was extremely challenging, and you make choices based on that challenging life that are not in your best interest.
Okay.
You cross over, you're in a dark place. You see someone who has something that you need, or who perhaps has a light that you're drawn to because there's a part of you that knows that that light is beautiful, that light is good. And so you gravitate, boom, you attach, and now you're stuck again. You're stuck on this person when really, really that longing is home. That was a longing for home. That thing you needed, that light, that was a longing for home. That was a longing for here. And you can't get back here now because you're stuck on this human living person. Yes. But that call, that pull is so strong. That pull to come home is so strong.
Oh.
That you'll do anything.
I see.
Now you also have those who the pull and longing is so strong for drugs or alcohol that they'll do anything in that situation too to keep living that experience. But then you have those who have a pull for home. And either of those situations, that attachment will do whatever it takes.
Yes.
To get what they need, to get that longing filled.
Correct. Yes. Yes.
This is why this place is so necessary. The healing is necessary.
Yes, it is.
And why you have teams around you so that you don't falter. Why we encourage you to listen and open yourself up to hear your team. And to be responsive and receptive to the guidance that they give, to the direction that they lead. It's not easy and you take it for granted, I must say.
Whoa. Wow.
But we care. We care about you. Clearly.
Yes.
We've got this whole structure set up.
Yes, you do.
And we care deeply.
Yes.
Because, the ones working here, such as myself, we're from Earth. We've come here. We've lived here, and we have an affinity, an affection for the challenges of Earth and what it represents. And that it is not an easy planet. My
goodness.
No, it
is not.
It's not, but it's vibrant in a way that many other places are not. And it's unique and creative. And it's all of this free will.
Yes.
For better or worse.
Yes.
It's all of this free will.
Yes.
You're free to destroy yourself, unfortunately.
Yes, we are. Hopefully we will start loving ourselves enough to better ourselves.
Yes, yes.
Yes. Yes.
But I'm proud of the work we do here in the waiting room. And to be one of the people who helps here and leads teams and team leads. I lead. So it's an important place. It's important work, and we have a lot of work to do. And unfortunately, they are calling me because I must get back to work.
But thank you.
But it has been a pleasure, and I appreciate this time. And I know that we were cut off last time because of your higher self coming through, and so I appreciate the second follow-up interview so that we can continue our conversation and complete it.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming and sharing, and I will allow you to step back and...
with gratitude and grace, thank you very much.
Thank you, thank you.
Be well.
All right, you too, be well. All right, we are grateful for Cierna for coming through, and we pray that all will be received with love, light, and understanding, and may you be blessed. And we hope to see you next time. Bye-bye.